Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another makeup diaries. So we're gonna see 7 different looks that I've worn in the span of 7 different days, and I'm gonna share with you what I'm using, what I'm trying, what I'm planning, and give you teeny tiny reviews about everything that I'm using. So hopefully you'll enjoy that and you'll find some inspiration here. Please vote down below in the comment section what's your favorite look, and like this video, I would really appreciate that. And if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It does help me out a lot. And yeah, now let's get into this. So today is a super easy look. I actually filmed my full face of essence. I don't know if it's already up on my channel or if it's gonna be on my channel, but I do assume it already is. So if it is, I'm gonna leave it in the little card. And what I've used, so there's quite a bit of products. First up is, and I'm not gonna give you like too much of a review today for these products because obviously I have a full video that's very new, so go check that out. But I'm using the Essence Micro Precise Eyebrow Pencil in the shade 02 Light Brown, this one, in my brows. And it's a nice color, but it's really small little pencil, so you're probably gonna use it up really fast. I wanna track my usage on this because I don't think it has more than 20 uses, honestly. Then I have the Essence Brow Lift and Freeze Glue. I've been using this one a bit, like it's been in my daily rotation for a couple days now, and it's quite nice. Then I have this Essence Jelly Grip Eyeshadow Primer, long lasting and intensifying, grease free. This one, I'm using it for the first time today and it felt quite nice. For my eyeshadows, I'm actually using the Essence Soft Touch Duo eyeshadow in the shade Berry Crush, which is shade number 2. So it's this shimmery, kind of pinky purpley. And I have the matte shade in my crease and then the shimmer shade all over the lid. And I've actually used a little bit of my Dragon Eye palette from What's Up Beauty for the shade Breath, just to slightly soften it up in the inner part of the crease, because this shade might be a bit teeny tiny bit more dark than I usually go for, all over my crease. And then in the inner corner, I wanted to make the inner corner actually visible, and I don't have inner corner shade from Essence. I've used this highlighter, which is the Harley Quinn Meta Glow highlighter in the shade Rebel. It's the shade number 1. It's a beautiful kind of pinky to gold highlighter, but this one doesn't show up enough on the in the inner corner. So underneath this shade, I actually have the shade Luminaire from Cleonat. This is how it looks like. It's in my Pendos eyeshadows. So I've used this and then went over with the highlighter, and I also have the highlighter in my brow, on my brow bone, and it looks so beautiful there. So that's for the eye makeup. And then I have a green eyeshadow for liner. It's from the Undergrowth palette from Cosmic Beauty, and it's the shade called Nettle, which is in my Pendos eyeshadows. I just wanted to have eyeliner, and I haven't bought any eyeliner from Essence. And I'm gonna pop up a picture of the shade that I'm using because I've already put that palette in my collection, so I don't want to go and search for it. Then I don't have a waterline pencil, but I have the Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect Mascara. This one is waterproof, so I have that on my lashes, and it's incredible mascara. I've already had this one previously, and it's great. Concealer, I'm using the Essence Camouflage Plus Matte Concealer in the shade 100. This is my first time using it, and I have it under my eyes, and I have it also around my chin because I have some red spots. So I wanted to see how it's gonna look like over there, and it's actually quite nice. It's not a bad concealer. It just may be a little bit more mattifying than I'm used to. Then bronzer is the Essence Baby Got Bronze little mini bronzer in the shade Cinnamon and Spice. It's the shade number 10, so that's just a little bit over here and then over here. Then I have the Baby Got Blush, liquid blush in the shade Coral Crush, which is shade number 40. So I just have that as a blush. I don't know how well it shows up, but that's my blush. And highlighter is the Meta Glow, the one that I have in my inner corners as well. And on my lips, I've used the Essence Soft and Precise Lip Pencil in the shade Happy. It's this one, it's a very cute shade. And then I have the Essence Water Tint Lip and Cheek Tint. And I have mine in the shade 01. And this one is a good little product. I do love the color, and I think everything looks really nice. So this is like a softer, cutesier look, but I'm quite happy with how it looks like. And that's it for today. Let's get into the next look. Hi guys, so here is another look, and today I decided to do this, like, I call it spicy neutral, because it technically is a neutral look, but it has some fun little elements, and I love this. This is like, if I wear neutrals, it's in this kind of way. So what I have the RM Beauty Wicked Ozian Forest palette, and I'm using this shade, which I think is the Grimmery. I think that's how it's called, and I'm using this in my brows. It's actually a great brow shade, like it fits beautifully now that I've colored my hair. And then I have the Essence Brow Lift and Freeze Glue. This is the transparent one. Then I have my Catrice Grip to Last eyeshadow primer. And then I have this first shade, which I think is called Confusifying. So that's like under the brow. Then underneath it in the crease is this shade, which is Witching Hour. And then in the like outer part and all over the lid, kind of like a smoky eye, I'm using my Autumnal BYOP that's in this Legend of Korra palette, and I'm using this shade, which is called Nowhere, and it's from the Christmas Eve palette from Udon's Eye. I'm getting a really good dip on this, so that's exciting. And then for shimmers, so I have my Cleona Shine On Shimmer Primer as a base, and then on the outer part, I'm using a shade from the Lord of the Rings palette, like the Middle Earth palette from Glamlight, because one of the shades is in my Pendos eyeshadows, and that's the shade Legolas. So I'm using it today. I think it's my second time using it since I rolled it into the project, so you're not gonna see any pan. And then all over the lid, like in the first half, I have another shade that's in my Pendos eyeshadows, and I have been using this one a lot. I think I've worn it like 9 or 10 times since rolling it in, and this is and it's this holochrome shade. It's from Touch of Glam Beauty, and it's called Creamsicle Hollow. And I don't know if I have a pan or if but I'm gonna use it one more time to like be sure, or I'm gonna hit a pan then. And in the inner corner, I have the On Top of the World palette from Cleonut, and I'm using the shade Simply Beaming. So this one is in the inner corner. Then the first shade on the lower lash line is Jump for Joy, this beautiful yellow. And then in the outer part of the lower lash line is Happy as a Clam. They're stunning. Like, they're genuinely, genuinely stunning. And I love them so, so, so much. And then, yes, so that's for that. Oh, I have the Udon's Eye Salmon Gel Liner in the shade 13 in my waterline. This is kind of like a deep brown. I just thought, why not? It actually fits this look quite nicely. Then for mascara, I have the Essence Lash Princess Fall Slash Effect Waterproof Mascara. I'm using the Aqua Splash Grip Primer all over my face because I wanted to kind of experiment. I have a couple red spots like around here, which is probably from blowing my nose all the time, and then over here, which is from the weather, because I'm wearing a lot of sweaters nowadays since it's like cold outside, and it's touching my chin, and it's making me break out. Also because sometimes, like, you don't feel like a sweater is scratchy unless you're wearing it for like 11 consecutive hours, and then you realize that it actually is scratchy. So I've used this primer on the areas that need the most coverage. I've used my Super Stay Concealer from Maybelline in the shade 10. I also have it on my under eye area where I normally use it. And then on the rest of the face, I'm using the Cute Press Every Retouch Oil Control Foundation Powder in the shade B1. I think this is my like 3rd time using it. It's very underused, but also I bought it this summer, and I normally don't use these powders. But for powder foundations, I do know a way to use them once in a while. And so I have it on my forehead, on these areas over here, and on the nose. I don't have it like in the outside portions of my face because it's covered up by hair, and also I don't break out in these areas, and I don't have any like issues in these areas usually. Then I have the Revolution Fast Base Blush in the shade Peach as a blush, obviously. For highlighter, I'm using the Wicked palette for REM. Why is it so dirty already? I'm glad that this is plastic packaging so I can easily clean it up. And I'm using this shade called Oh Oz as a face highlighter. It's a very beautiful, soft, kind of champagne-y going into green type of highlighter, and I feel like it fits this like neutrally look but still makes it a bit fun and cute. And then I have the Essence 8 Hour Matte Comfort Lip Liner in the shade 11, Chestnut Perfection, all over the lips. I have it like as a liner, and then I just smooshed my lips together to make it into like a very soft lipstick. This is how I wear lip liners if I want to just wear a lip liner and I want it to last me all day, because this wears out really naturally. And whenever you notice that it's like getting like if it starts to remove itself from the like center of your lips, you're just kind of gonna like bring them together a couple times and it's fine, and it's like a brand new. So that's for this look. Let me come closer and kind of show you how this one looks like. But this is a really fun look, and it's really cute, it's really quick to do, and I think it looks nice. So I might do this type of look, or like a rendition of this look, a couple more times before I'm gonna hit pans on these shades, because why not? Like it looks nice, it feels nice, so why not? But that's it for today, and I'll see you tomorrow. For this look, so I always start with my brows. You're gonna see quite a lot of products today because I have a couple products that I'm trying to like either finish my Nope and Left Behind or hit pans or stuff like that, so I kind of combine a lot of different things. But for my brows, I'm using my autumnal BYOP that I've been using for the past 3 months, and I'm gonna kind of create new color story for the winter season since it's getting really cold. But right now I'm using the shade Nowhere from Christmas Eve palette from Woodland's Eye, and I'm mixing it with this shade, which is called Loser's Club. It's from Sharp Cosmetics, and it's from the Betty Bean collection, or like collaboration. And then on my brows as well, I'm using the Essence Brow Lift and Freeze glue that I've been wearing for a while now, and it's the transparent version, by the way. My eyeshadow primer, I'm actually using this Catrice Insta Bright Serum Concealer in the shade 001N because I can't find my regular primer for the eyeshadows. And then what do I have on? Let me figure that out. Oh, okay, so first up, I needed something light because I didn't want this look to be like too dark and stark. And since I'm trying to Nope and Left Behind this palette, I thought I'm gonna use one of the shades. It's the Little Ghost palette from Woodland's Eye. This is the collaboration with Angelica Nyquist. And I've used the shade Skeleton, this one, just kind of all over the crease to make sure that the eye look is not gonna turn too dark. Then I'm wearing one shade from my Dragon Eye palette from What's Up Beauty. It's currently my Project Level Up, and I'm using the shade Spikes as the main crease shade all over the lid and in the on the lower lash line as well. And on the lower lash line, I actually soften it up with the shade Breath to make it a little bit softer there. And then in the outer corner, I'm using the Diaries Cosmetics Witch of the Wildflower palette because this one I'm also trying to Nope and Left Behind, and this is small, so I just decided that I want to Nope and Left Behind on my palettes that are in my autumnal collection. And since I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that before I'm gonna finish my like autumnal collection and roll my winter collection, I'm trying to focus on the smaller ones because those are gonna be easier. And I'm using the purple Toad Flags, this one, in the outer corner. Then yeah, those are all the matte shades. And then for shimmers, so I have my Shine On Shimmer Primer from Cleonut. And then what did I use? I have the On Top of the World palette from Cleonut, because that's where I'm currently trying to nope and left behind to be able to film my monthly haul, which you've already seen. It's already on my channel. So I'm using Walking on Air, this one, in the outer part of the lid. Then I have Joys of Spring, this one, kind of on most of the lid. And then I have Over the Moon, this one, in the inner corner. It's a beautiful shade, like all of them are super beautiful, just in case you want to see that up close. And I also have one shade from the What's a Beauty, and it's the shade Magic, this one, and I have that on the lower lash. I just wanted something that's like more toppery and not so, like something that's even lighter in base and still as sparkly. And then I have my ColourPop cream gel liner in the shade Amethyst Hour. This one is pretty long, a pretty old one in my collection, but it still works. Like all of these products that are a little bit more older still work wonderfully, and I'm very happy to use them. Then I have this She Glam Heart Eyes 2-in-1 stamp eyeliner, which is currently something in my that I'm panning in my 25 things to pan in 2025. And I just have that as like a small little liner just to use it. And it's been pretty hard using it last time, and today like I had to really drag this and like really push it so that something comes out, and it's really hard to draw with it. It doesn't really want to. Like this is what it did right now. Like I'm trying to really draw with it, and this is how it looks like. So yeah, like you have to really like, I don't know if you can see, but you have to like really press it and then you can draw with it. But then you have this like splotch, and it's kind of annoying to use it. So I'm gonna try it one more time, and either I'm gonna have some product, either I'm gonna be able to get some product out, or I'm just gonna call it quits. I think I've used it like 20 or 30 times in this project, so it's fine. Then I have this Maybelline Superstay Concealer, and what I've been doing lately, because this is also in my 25 things to pan, I have it in the shade 10, by the way. And normally I would only do like one little dot here and one little dot here, and I would just use it in my under eyes, and I wouldn't wear any like foundation or anything else on my face because I just don't prefer it. But another product that I have in my 25 things is this Aqua Splash Grip Primer from Catrice, and obviously I still have like around half left. It's a lot better because it was over here, like right where the black line is, and then I've used it like 3 times, and do you see how much I was able to get rid of? So what I've started to do, especially now that it's colder and it's like drier and everything, I've been using this on my face after my sunscreen, right? I do my eyes, it kind of sets on its own, and then I apply this to just use it because I don't really use primers and I have way too many. And then I'm using this concealer and I do the dots under my eyes, but then I would also do like a little dot here, and then because my chin has a little bit of red spots, I also do one stripe, like small stripe over here, and I blend it with my fingers. And it's been working. So this way I'm using a little bit more of the concealer, like around 2 times more than I would normally do, because I mean, it looks the same. For the past 4 months, I thought that the concealer ends here, like that's where I am, but it still looks exactly like that, and I've used it over 300 times. So yeah, I'm just kind of using it as like a really soft foundation, and because I want to use this one up, but it's obviously sticky primer, it's a grip primer. For the rest of my face, I would use the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation in Powder, because the reason why I also don't wear foundations for the daily is because it takes too much time to apply, and it takes a lot throughout the day to make it look nice, in my opinion. But this is something that I just use fluffy brush and I just kind of go over my entire face and that's it. And it just has a little bit of coverage. I have mine in the shade 40 Cashmere and it works. It works. It doesn't make my skin sticky. It doesn't make it dry either. It actually feels really nice, and at least my forehead isn't too oily. Like now it is a bit shiny, but also I'm like a combination too oily. So for me that is completely fine. I have no problem with that, and at least this way I'm gonna be able to eventually pan it. Maybe I've never panned a foundation, and this is my first foundation and powder that I've ever bought, so it would be really cool to eventually pan it in many months to come. But at least I'm using a couple products from my collection, you know. It makes no sense to have them if I will never use them. And yeah, that way I'm getting a little bit more progress. I'm hopefully gonna be able to use up the primer, because it actually doesn't take too much to use it up. I think like, yeah, like this whole area was used up in like 3 or 4 uses. So if I'll use it for the rest of the month, I might actually use it up, and that will be cool because I have the Essence gripping primer as well. So I need one, like it's completely okay to just have one. I think that's more than enough. Yeah, so this is it. And then for my blush, I'm gonna be very boring in this video when it comes to blushes, probably because I'm trying to pan one and it takes forever, and I really want to be done with this year. I don't want to bring it into next year. I thought I smelled something, but I don't think it's this product. It's the Revolution Fast Base Blush in the shade Peach. I've been using it so much as well, and this is all I have left. And I'm really digging at it. I'm using a lot of the blush. I don't know. I mean, it's still visible, and I've worn this for, what, 13 hours? No, more than 13 hours. Maybe like 13 and a half, 14 hours. And it's pretty. Like, it makes my cheeks very hydrated without feeling oily, and it's a beautiful color and everything. But I've used this pretty much consecutively for the past 5 months. It's so long, and yeah, and I feel like it's been looking like this for the past month. Like, it doesn't change. Some days I feel like it changed, but I'm not sure. I just want to be done with it. So, and I mean, for winter it's not a bad product to use because obviously it's a bit more balmy, hydrating. I've started to use it on my lips as well, because you can use this as a lip balm. So I would like smoosh my fingers there and just use it all over my lips for a little bit more hydration. I'm used to using Vaseline on my lips, so this is not that hydrating, obviously, but at least it's something, and I'm using it up, and you know, I'm doing all I can. I sound very unenthusiastic about this, but it's just, you know, it's been a long time. Then I decided, because this look is kind of, I don't want to say basic, but it's monochromatic. It's just nothing spectacular. The shimmers are beautiful. Like, they definitely make it super nice. But it's like very monochromatic, so I wanted to add a bit more color to this look, and without like spending too much time, because it was 5 in the morning and I just really needed to do my makeup and just go, or I wanted to do my makeup because it makes me happy. So I did use the Glisten Spectra Lash mascara in the shade White. I've been using it a little bit more lately because it's been in my collection for a while. I think it's like a year old, and I've noticed that it doesn't have like a unpleasant scent, but I feel like it didn't used to smell like this. And my lashes are okay and my eyes are okay. I've used it a couple of times lately in like the past 2 weeks, and nothing happened to me, so I don't think it's expired. But mascaras do expire really quickly, and I don't want to risk not using it up, since it's really good mascara. Like, I love the effect. I love how really bright white it is. It's a great formula. It makes my lashes super long. I adore this, so I want to actually use up as much as I can before it expires. Hopefully I will be able to use it up. And then highlighter. So I have the Beauty Bay Mini Charms palette, and this is a palette that I've been using mostly for highlighters, even though it's an eyeshadow palette, but it has a lot of really nice light eyeshadows that I use for my highlighter. And today I've used Aurora, this pinky one. I'm so close to like using it up, or close. I have a huge dip, obviously, as you can see, like it's really pronounced, but I won't be able to finish this shade up before the end of the year. I don't think so. I would have to do a lot of like pink, blue, purple looks for that. So yeah, that's all that I'm wearing today on my face. Oh no, wait, I forgot lips. So I have the Catrice Creamy Nude Lip Pen in the shade 50 Happy Hazelnut. This one, I just randomly pulled it out from my collection a couple days ago when I found my... No, I didn't film Full Face of Catrice. Why did I pull this out? I don't know, for some reason I was playing with this one, realized it's really nice. It's not like a lip liner, it's more like a lipstick in a pen, because it's not smudge proof, but it's very creamy, and I do use this as like a base for my lipstick, just to make sure that I like get the right shape, even though this isn't a lip liner. And I've just been using it a lot, and I've actually sharpened it multiple times, and it's way shorter than it used to be. But it's just a really nice product. It was very inexpensive, and it's a beautiful color. It's kind of like a rosy brown. And then over that, I have the Maybelline Vinyl Ink lipstick in the shade 15 Peachy. This is my oldest, or one of my oldest lipsticks in my collection at this point. And I've noticed that it's kind of separating, like whenever I just open it, you sometimes don't get any pigment and you just get like a clear water, so I do have to shake it every single time I use it, and that tells me that I've probably had it for too long and I should use it up. And this is a really pretty shade, obviously, especially for winter. I feel like it's such a nice shade. It's not too cool toned for me, while still being kind of like cooler. And yeah, so I'm working on this. I'm usually very basic with lipsticks. Either I don't wear them, or I just wear like one combo until I pan it, and then I find another combo. And I have too many lipsticks, so I do really want to like focus on like 1, 2, or 3 at a time, use them up, and then go somewhere else for something a little different. And once in a while I do want to do like a really dark lips or something exciting, but for the most part I usually don't really experiment too much with lips, and it just, whatever I'm currently in the mood, I'll just wear for weeks and weeks until I change my mood. So these are the ones I'm using, and you're probably gonna see them quite a bit. I'm gonna try to make it a little bit more interesting, but I don't know. Welcome back to another daily look. And today, so my brows are the same. Let me actually get the palette. So it's the Nowhere shade from Christmas Eve, and the Loser's Club from Charlotte Cosmetics. And then I have my Essence Brow Lift and Freeze Glue. Then as a primer, I have the Catrice Insta Bright concealer in the shade 001N as always. And then on the eye, so I have a green look. I'm really trying to pan my greens, so that's kind of what I've been wearing and using. All over my lid, kind of the part that is covered with eyeshadow, with the shimmer shades, I'm using this shade, which is called Just Now, from the Christmas Eve palette, just to use it up. You know, it's one of my Project Pan palettes. And then the matte shades are from the Diaries Witch of Wildflower. And I have the shade Iron Wheat, which is in the crease, and then Virginia Creep, this one, Creeper, sorry, this dark green in the outer part. Then on my lids, I have the Shine On Shimmer Primer from Cleonut, as always. And what am I using? Oh yeah, in the outer part, I have my Middle Earth palette from the Lord of the Rings collection from Glamlight. And I'm using the shade Legolas, which is now my Pendos Eyeshadows shade, and I've been using it quite a bit. I also have it on my nails, by the way, over a black nail polish. This one isn't as sparkly as I normally have my shimmer shade, so that's a little sad. And then I have my Ulta Beauty Dragon Eye palette, and I'm wearing the shade Fire, kind of all over the lid. And then in the first third, I also have the shade Fierce, which is a beautiful like green, gold, yellow, and really it really does brighten up the look. And then in the inner corner as a base, I have one shade from my Pendos Eyeshadows because it is very white based, so it helps to really brighten up the area, but it's not too sparkly, so I do layer a sparkly inner corner over that. But as a base, I'm using the Luminaire shade from Cleona. This is from the series 1 Iridescent Multichromes, and as I said, it's called Luminaire. And yeah, I've been using it quite a bit lately. And then over that I have the shade Fly from the Ulta Beauty's palette. It's a great inner corner shade that kind of flips all sorts of different colors, and it just looks very beautiful. Then I have one of the eyeliners from the Lens and Glisten collection, so it's the Don't Think Just Do, this one. And then in my waterline I have the Glisten Spectra pencil in the shade White. On the lower lash line I'm using the Glisten Spectra Lash mascara in the shade White. And on the top lash I'm mixing the Curling Iron mascara from Judy Doe, because this one doesn't really give me the effect that I want, but it's open and I need to use it up, so I just use it as like a base just for the roots, because obviously normal mascara wands are a bit like you can poke your eye, but with this it's just a little metal like rod. So, or is that how it's called? I'm not completely sure. So you're not gonna poke your eyes with that. And then over that I have the Essence Lash Princess mascara, the waterproof one. As a primer, I'm using the Aqua Splash Grip Primer on my face. It's just to use it up. And then kind of in the under eye area and around my chin, I have my Maybelline Super Stay Concealer in the shade 10. It's in my project pan. I'm trying to use it up. I don't know if I'm getting any close. Like, it isn't changing. Like, it still looks exactly the same. So I'm not sure if there's any progress. Then I have the Revolution Fast Base Blush in the shade Peach. And yeah, that one, you know what that looks like. Highlighter is the Beauty Bay Mini Charms palette, and today I'm mixing this shade with this shade as my usual combo. So that's on my cheeks. Maybe I'm gonna add more later before I'm gonna go to school, because like to my uni, because I think it could look really nice. Then I have the Catrice Creamy Nude Lip Pen in the shade Happy Hazelnut. It's just what I have in my purse, so, or like my backpack, so that's just what I'm using. And then I have the Maybelline Vinyl Ink Lipstick in the shade Peachy. And that's this entire look. I really like it. It's a little bit different way how to wear greens that is interesting, and I also feel like it's seasonally really appropriate. And yeah, it just makes me very happy, and it's not too hard to do. So I do like this look a lot, and yeah, I just find it interesting. Let me kind of re-show you the flips a bit. So this one is amazing. I do really love it, and it's one of my favorite looks. And that's it for this one. Let's get into the next one. Hi guys, so here's another look, and today I've actually kind of combined a lot of different things that I'm like panning or trying to nope and left behind. It's kind of always like it's been a theme for me for a while now. So on my brows I have the shade Nowhere from the Christmas Eve palette, and this shade called Loser's Club from the Shroud Cosmetics. and Hello Beam collab. I just have it in this magnetic palette because I'm at my grandparents' house and I didn't want it to bring the entire autumnal BYOP because lately I've been only using these two shades from that palette, and I knew that I'm probably not gonna be able to reach for any of the other ones in the span of 2 days that I'm here for the weekend, so I just decided not to bring that. Then I have the Essence Brow Lift and Freeze glue that I've been using lately. I don't really change my brow products very often unless I use up some of them. And then my eyeshadow primer is actually my concealer, which is the Super Stay Concealer from Maybelline in the shade number 10. I didn't want it to bring too many things, and also I'm trying to use this one up. And what is pretty cool is that now it's been pretty hard to actually get product out, and when I take the applicator out, like there's just teeny tiny bit of product left on the applicator, otherwise I'm not getting anything. So I feel like I'm getting to the bottom of this. I'm not gonna take the stopper out today because I'm gonna travel with this product, but tomorrow I think I'm gonna take it out and see how far we're gonna be able to get, because like there's a lot of windowing and I feel like we are definitely at the bottom of this, and that makes me very happy. So this is an eyeshadow primer. Then for the actual eyeshadow, so my like inner crease shade is from the What's Up Beauty palette, from the like Dragon Eye palette, and it's the shade Creature. It's currently my project level up, so I'm trying to use at least some of the shades once in a while to go through the usage of this. And then I'm mainly using the Avatar The Last Airbender Fire palette from Little, because this one I'm trying to Nope and Left Behind. I was actually able to finish my Nope and Left Behind on it today. So I have Fire Sages, this kind of very reddish brown in the outer part of the crease and kind of blending it out. It almost looks purpley on me. And I use the same thing on the lower lash line. I also have Black Sun just along the lash line. It's like the final step just to make my lash line look more fluffy, and you know, it makes your lashes a little bit fuller. And then I have some of my shimmer shades. So I'm using my Shine On Shimmer Primer from Cleonut. And then I have Roku in the like second half. Sozen's Comet, this one in the inner half, and then in the inner corner I'm using the shade Dancing Dragon, but I actually layered a shade over it. And before I'm gonna get into that, I also have one shade in the outer corner as like a shimmer shade because I really wanted that to be like super deep. So before I applied the Roku shade, the like reddish one, I took my Lord of the Rings Middle Earth palette and I used my Pendos eyeshadow shade, which is called Legolas. I feel like my Pendos eyeshadows update is already up by the time you're watching this, so it's fine that you see like a spoiler. So I've used that one. I've used it quite a lot lately in the past 3 weeks. So yeah, that's in the outer corner to like really make it deep there. And then over the, how's it called? Sozin's Comet? No, the Dancing Dragon. So over Dancing Dragon, I also have one shade from my Elements of Evil palette from Sugar Drizzle, because it felt like it's not sparkly enough, and it also was a little bit too dark. So I wanted to just make it a little bit more my skin tone and a little bit just fit me better. So I have the shade Pickled Eyeballs. I've actually used it a couple times already in my inner corner this year, and it's one of my most used shades in this palette. And I was also able to hit pan today. So I haven't hit a pan in like almost 2 weeks now, and I've been working on so many different shades. And it usually is like that. Like you work on something for a really long time, and then within this like 1 or 2 days, you're gonna be able to hit like 5 pans, but it takes forever to actually get there. So that's everything for the eyeshadows. Then I have my Trended Up Contour and Glide Kyle pencil in this pale yellow shade. I have my Essence Lash Princess mascara on. Then I have in my under eyes and then kind of also around my chin to just, get some progress. I'm using the Super Stay Concealer from Maybelline in the shade Tan. And yeah, I'm really, really getting to the bottom of this. Like I can even see the bottom when I look inside. and like there's not much on the walls, at least from what I can see, so I feel like it genuinely is just like a little tiny bit left. And I feel like it's currently the 30th of November, so I feel like in a month I can absolutely use it up. Like this just made me so excited. Then for my blush, I'm using the Revolution Fast Base blush in the shade Peach. Am I gonna show you how it looks like? No, I'm not gonna show you, but we're getting really close. That's all I'm gonna say. To like finishing it up, and then I have the BDP Mini Charms palette, and I've used this shade and this shade. It's my normal regular combo. I either use these two together or I use one of these. That depends on whether I'm doing like a cool tone or warm toned look. And I feel like now I can see progress on this shade. Like it started to actually show some progress. I feel like it didn't move for the longest time, and now we're finally seeing a bit of changes with this one. So that's for the mini charms. And then so that's my highlighter, in case you want to see, like it's very pretty highlighter. Then on my lips I have I just randomly put this in my backpack and now I'm using it every single day. So this is the Catrice Creamy Nude Lip Pen in the shade Happy Hazelnut. I actually sharpened it a couple times and now I have to sharpen it again because it's not really drawing too much, and I feel like this is such a nice everyday lipstick and kind of like a lip liner, even though it doesn't have the longevity of a lip liner, but it's a really pretty lipstick. And then I have this Maybelline Vanilla Ink in the shade 15 Peachy. I'm just trying to use that one up. Yeah, so that one. And those are all the products for today, so I hope you've enjoyed this look. It's kind of basic, but I just wanted to go through some of these shades and some of these palettes and maybe earn some points for my eyeshadow bank and stuff like that. But yeah, that's it for today. Hi guys, so here is another daily makeup look, and let me show you what I've actually used. So for my brows, I'm using the same thing as always. So it's the Losers Club shade and the shade Nowhere. And then I have my Essence Brow Lift and Freeze Glue. Then my primer is again my Maybelline Superstay Concealer in the shade 10. And then, so what do I actually have on my eyes? I've used some of the products that I'm panning and hauling. So, as the main crease shade, I'm using a shade from the Dragon Eye palette from What's Up Beauty, and that's called Creature. And that is like in the outer, or like in the main crease. And then I'm also using the shade Smoke in the outer part to deepen it up. To blend it out, I'm actually using the Rotten palette, and I have the shade Neo. And then I've used this concealer to cut my crease, and I've used Oxygen in the inner part and Spoil in the half of the lid, like in the center. I actually had to go over the concealer with a tacky primer because what I've noticed about this palette, and I've noticed that right where I was reviewing this for the first time, the light shades in this palette are too light for me and they just don't really show up. You need like a really tacky base, otherwise you're not really getting the pigmentation, and I'm not used to that from Blend Bunny. Usually they are way better in their formulas, and I think you can even see like how much I had to scrape it to like get enough product to show up on my skin. So that's in the crease. And then what else do I have on? So I have one shade from the from this palette, and let me actually check, but I'm fairly certain that it's the shade Magic, this one, and I just have it like in the outer part. And then I also have Monster in the lower lash line, And then I have the shade Luminaire from Cleonat. This one, because I'm trying to hit a pan on that, and I have it kind of over here as a base because I wanted to have that part of my eye really light and like bright. And then I went over it with my Elements of Evil palette and the shade Arsenic Wine. So that's what I'm using. And then I have my Colourpop cream gel liner in the shade Brands. I love this waterline pencil. It's getting quite dry because it took quite a lot of effort for me to actually draw an eyeliner or like the waterline. And it's not very pigmented. Like it doesn't really show up as bright as it used to. And obviously I have this as a concealer on my face. I have my Essence Lash Princess mascara. Then I have my Revolution Fast Base blush in the shade Peach, sorry. Beauty Bay Mini Charms palette and the shade Aurora as my highlighter. Oh, and I have this Catrice Creamy Nude lip pencil in the shade Happy Hazelnut on my lips, kind of blurred. Because I also have Vaseline over that. So yeah, this is the look. I haven't done the cut crease in a while, but I just like how it looks. Like it's still quite neutral, but it has those fun little sparkly elements and that white and blue. I think I'm gonna do another white and blue with like deep blue as well look. And I think I could do like a matte crease, like the top part, and then shimmery bottom lash line. Maybe I could do that. Or maybe I could do a shimmery liner with that. I think that could also be very fun. But let me know if you would like to see that. Maybe I will even film that and show you in this video, but just in case, let me know down below. And this is the look. Hi guys, welcome back to another makeup look. So today what I'm using for brows, it's kind of my usual combo, and I've actually worn this look a couple of days ago, and I'm not sure if it's not in this video as well, but it's with different products. At least some of them are different, so I don't know. So I'm mixing this brown with this gray in my brows, and then I have this Essence Brow Lift and Freeze Glue. Now this one actually holds really nicely because today was snowing quite a bit, and all of my hair and my brows were covered with snow, and obviously they got like completely wet. And I mean, the eyebrows still look good, they still look nice, so I think the hold is really good on this one. Then I have my Insta Bright concealer, serum concealer from Catrice in the shade 001N as a primer. I can't find my primer, so this is what I'm using today. And then the eyeshadows. So I have my Avatar The Last Airbender Fire palette from Lidl. I'm trying to open up behind this one, and I'm using Imperial City as my like first crease shade. Then in the main part of the crease I have this, which is the Amber Island. Then I'm using the shade Nowhere again, and I kind of have it all over the lid. I actually started with that shade all over the lid just to use it up because it's one in my Pendos palette, and then I have it in the outer corner as well, just for deepening it up. Then next up is shimmers. So I have the Shine On Shimmer Primer from Cleonat, and then I have the Lord of the Rings collab with a Glamlight. It's the Middle Earth palette, and I'm using the shade Legolas, this one, in the outer part of the crease. I'm using this a lot now because I'm trying to hit that pan. And then I have this shade, which is Creamsicle Hollow from Touch of Glam Beauty, and it's all over the like first half of the lid. And then I have my On Top of the World palette from Cleonut, and I'm using the shade Simply Beaming in the inner corner. I have Jump for Joy on the lower lash line and Happy as Clam at the last bit of the lower lash line. I've worn similar look a couple days ago, and today I needed to do a quick look for work. And something that will make me happy and that I will progress with my panning. So I just did this again. I couldn't think of anything to wear, and these were the palettes that were right in front of me because I've used them not that long ago, or actually yesterday. Yeah, I've used some of the different shades yesterday. So I just used these palettes again. It was the easiest thing to do. Then I have the Chromazone pencil from She Glam in the shade Subliminal in my waterline. I have my Maybelline Superstay Concealer in the shade 10, and I have it in my under eye area. And then I've also used it with my Aqua Splash Grip Primer from Catrice, which I'm trying to pan. So I have that all over the face. And then I've used this concealer right here and here because I have some redness there. And then I used my L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour Fresh Wear Foundation in powder. I have mine in the shade 40 Cashmere. So this is how it looks like, and I just used fluffy brush and kind of went over my entire face. And it looks great. Like, I've been wearing it all day, and now it looks just like my skin. It really blended. Sorry, my camera cut me off, but this really blends in nicely with my oils, like the oils on my face. Then I have the Lash Princess mascara from Essence. This is the waterproof one on my lashes. I have a little bit of this She Glam Heart Eyes 2-in-1 stamp eyeliner. I just literally lined my lash line because I want to use this up this year. And it's not very good to draw like a winged liner because it's kind of dry now. And it smudges really really easily. I wanted to say really nicely. Then I have the Revolution Fast Base Blush in the shade Peach. As always, I'm getting really close to finishing it, and that makes me so happy. Then as a highlighter, I have the Beauty Bay Mini Charms palette, and I'm mixing these two shades, the first and the third. So that one, and then I have the Catrice Creamy Nudes lip pencil. I have it as a lipstick, and this one is the lipstick and lip pencil in the shade 50 Happy Hazelnut. So this is how it looks like. And yeah, those are all the products that I'm currently wearing on my face. Let me actually come closer so that you can see, hopefully, the look. And this is like a very beautiful kind of spicy neutral look. That's how I call these particular looks, and they always make me very happy. Like if I wear neutrals, it's this. It's just something like this. So I hope you like this one, and I think this was the last look of this video. So I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I'll be super happy to see you in another video. And make sure to vote down below which look was your favorite. So bye guys.